Hello everyone, this is Scott, and here we are with video number 3 of the Ultimate DEA Profit Maximizer video training. And in this video I'm going to show you how to access the user form so you can do data entry in both your projections and actuals worksheets. Now before I use the user form, I do want to show you that all of the data entry that needs to be made can be done from the worksheets. You simply go to the cells that have the blue text indicated, or if they have one of these little red indicators in the upper right hand corner, then you can enter data there, with one exception. That's this cell, but that's generally just an introductory instruction sheet. Anyway, any of these cells right here, you can enter data. Also over on the actuals worksheet, the first cell that will be activated actually when you open your workbook will be this cell right here, where you enter the number of subscribers on your list. Don't worry about that at this point. You can also change here the conversion. We went through that in video 1. And then for each month we can input our actuals in terms of the ad investment for that month, the leads per month, and then all of our conversions right here. And these will be entered as the numbers of conversions, so not percentages in this case, but the actual number of leads per apps, the number of leads per app, free and paid, and so on and so on. Also, if you're tracking cash reserves, you can keep track of the remaining cash reserves here on the actual sheet in row 45. Then if you're drawing monthly living expenses off your cash reserves, you can also enter those here in row 54. Those are a couple of advanced things regarding the workbook that I'll cover in later videos. For right now, what I want to show you is how you can access the user form to do your data entry. So when you first open your workbook, you're going to notice on your Excel menu bar that there's a new tab that's entitled DEA Profit Maximizer. Just click that tab and click the Show User Form button, and your user form will open. By default, it will open with the Actuals tab activated. So in this video, I'll take you through both, but primarily I want to show you how to play around with some of the projections metrics, so that you can see the immediate impact of some of those things on your business. Now, I could show you simply by activating the projections tab. I guess I'll do that momentarily here. So right here in cell B3 of the projections table, that's where we would enter our monthly marketing budget. And this number relates to the marketing budget that we're going to start our business on. Over time, we're going to replace that out-of-pocket expense with the money that is being generated within the business. So in order to operate the user form, you're going to notice here that I've got a number of different spin buttons on the user form to adjust these various numbers. Here you'll see an increment spin button that's currently set to a factor of 10. I can adjust that increment from a factor of 1 to 1,000 for our marketing budget, and what that does is that sets the increment by which this spin button will either raise or lower the marketing budget. So I've set it to an increment of 1,000. I'm going to set the monthly marketing budget at $2,000 per month. This will be an out-of-pocket expense in the beginning. Here we have this similar thing. We have a spin button that controls the increment for our cost per lead that can be adjusted from 1 cent up to $10. So I'm going to start by setting the cost per lead to a factor of, I'm going to say $8. So right here you'll notice that we have leads per month indicated as 250. That's a calculated number, which is merely calculated by dividing our marketing budget of $2,000 a month by our cost per lead of $8, which results in 250 leads for the month. Quite simple. Next is our position. This spin button will allow us to control where we're positioned. And so I'm going to start this at gold, and I want you to notice on our worksheet here that a few things are changing as I adjust these spin buttons. Let me go back momentarily to the cost per lead, and I want you to just kind of watch some of the numbers here in this section of the workbook. And as I lower that cost per lead by $1 at a time, you'll see those numbers change. And conversely, if I raise it, those numbers change. Same thing with the marketing budget. If I raise the marketing budget here, you'll see the numbers in the table change. Now let's go down to the position. And right now you'll notice here in row 11, the heading reads gold forecast. And I can change that to read platinum and black. Any of the selections that are available on the spin button will show up there. And also you'll notice that our earnings do change, our projected earnings change as we change our positioning. So you'll notice that the numbers in the table will change as well. And right now they're not, and I'm not sure why. I think it's because I have no. So notice here, once I set the reinvestment cap to $3,000, that now as I spin the positioning button, you can see the numbers in the table are in fact changing. Alright. Now here in this box is our unsubscribe rate, and I've implemented this so that we can account for attrition in our subscriber list, because of course not everyone who subscribes initially to our list is going to remain on our list. First of all, those who go from being leads to apps will fall off of our basic list, that is, and so we're going to lose 3% off of our list, as well as those who choose for one reason or another to unsubscribe. So I would recommend setting this just arbitrarily at around 23% initially, just to account for some attrition in our list. Each of these conversion rates here are by default, when you open the workbook, set at values that are somewhat consistent with company averages. So by all means, if you want to play with these, do so. Just understand that as you do this, one key thing to remember is as we convert elites, we don't want to exceed 100% here cumulatively on these four factors. So in other words, we can only convert 100% of our elite members to DEA. So make sure that whatever these four numbers add up to doesn't exceed 100%, and more realistically, probably something on the order of 80% or less. You can see that currently mine is set to about 73% of all of our elites will convert then to some level within the DEA. Finally, there's a toggle button here that will base our commissions earned on either the 10-day window discount or the regular price. And if I go over here, watch these numbers, and you'll see that those do in fact change as I implement that, or as I toggle that button. Okay, so nobody really wants to look at a table of numbers and be overwhelmed, and that includes me. So that's why I've implemented a variety of different charts here within the workbook. This chart allows us to compare projected numbers to our actual numbers, so that as time goes on in our DEA business and we're gathering that actual data, we can compare it to those metrics that we basically developed our game plan around, and we can see how we're tracking on certain things. And you can go in, by the way, if you're operating on earlier versions of Excel such as 2010, 2013, you may not have this chart filters feature, so you'll not be able to filter what's being displayed on the chart. Here in Microsoft Office, 2016, you can enable the filters. And what I'm going to do initially is just show you the projected gross profit, which is this yellow series right here. And based on the current group of metrics that we've got entered here in our user form, this is what the projections table is actually showing us in picture format. So we've got a very nice upward trend to our line. In the next video, I'm going to show you guys how each one of these factors, marketing budget, cost per lead, and lead to app conversions, can really affect the shape of this line. I'm even going to include positioning in that discussion, so stay with me for that video. I hope you guys got something out of this video in terms of how to use the user form as it relates to projections. In a later video, we'll get into how to plug in the actuals once you've got your DEA business up and running. Talk to you soon.